Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to another edition of the Panthers Report right here on the Mark Moses Show. And it's always sponsored locally by Florida Tech Athletics. This guy's been on the recruiting trail since the team's been off for a couple days. Yes, he is the head basketball coach there at Florida Tech. He is Will Murphy. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Mark.
You were telling me off air, and I think the fans should know this. You went up to Minnesota. What was the weather like when you were up there, Coach?
It was cold, and it was under a winter weather advisory. So I went up there during a blizzard. I always try to see all the commits play one time during their high school season. So we've got 5 signed, 3 from Florida, 1 from Wisconsin, and 1 from Minnesota. And luckily for me, the kid from Wisconsin, he's playing in a Florida Christmas tournament. So I'm going to get to see the other all in the state of Florida. So it was our finals week. So I flew up to see the kid from Minnesota since he doesn't play out of state. And yeah, it was snowing pretty good. And everybody was going about 25 miles an hour on the interstate. It was just kind of hard to move around.
Is there, like, in the locker room, like, break glass for emergency, get out the Florida Tech gigantic winter coat? Did you bring that with you, Coach?
So that's not in part of our staff pack. No, the thickest thing I had was a Florida Tech sweatshirt. So that's what I wore up there. That's all I had. There's no winter Tech or winter Florida Tech gear passed out because we don't need it. So I was a little bit unprepared in that regard. I had a little Nike rain jacket too, but that really didn't do much.
It didn't help. All right. Well, we will work on this. I know the holidays are coming up.
I don't think I've unpacked my winter attire since I moved to Florida. I think it's still upstairs in the guest bedroom somewhere. So maybe next time I'll be a little bit smarter.
Is that
the worst part was the shoes though, because I just wore tennis shoes and when you step in the snow, it just gets on top and then it melts when you go inside and then your feet are wet. I could deal with but the shoes was miserable.
The walking, no, you make it sound like the dog sled is going to show up like you're in Alaska to get you around to the basketball court. That's what's going to happen. It is.
Oh.
Is this a good example for anyone who wants to get into, like, collegiate coaching, where even during a season, recruiting never ends, for good or bad? This is part of the job as well, where you're always looking ahead to future players like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, most of your focus is always on this year's team, but you always got to keep an eye to the future. And these are kids that are committed, so I want them to feel good and make sure we get to games and see them. And finals week is always a big time to do that because we have a 10-day break, and so it's about the only time you can travel any significance and not miss practice because we gave the guys 3 days off for finals. So yeah, it's part of the deal.
I understand. All right, you look at your team. You guys are 4-5. You're on a 4-game winning streak. You guys were road warriors. Then you have your home opener. What was it, last Saturday? You lose by 4 points to St. Leo. What happened in this basketball game, Coach?
Well, statistically speaking, the most important deal in basketball is you shooting the ball at a high efficiency and keeping your opponents from shooting a ball at a high efficiency. And so over the last several games, we've done that, including the St. Leo game. But then the next 2 things are turnover differential and rebounding differential. And we lost both of those in wide margins in the St. Leo game. So in a game where we shot the ball better than our opponent, forced them to shoot a low percentage, they took 16 more shots than us. It's hard to win basketball games when your opponent gets 16 more cracks at it than you do. So
is it one of those things like you're in practice? Hey, these little things matter, especially 1-2 possession game. If we clean this up, we're going to win these types of basketball games.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching it on film and now we've started running for every turnover in practice live. So what team turns the ball over? Everybody knows the deal now. They just jog to the line and they run down and back. And it's less about punishment. It's more like a mental reinforcement for how important that is. And honestly, just highlighting how much we do it. Because, I mean, we're turning the ball over way too much in games, but we're also too careless with the ball in practice. And so you typically, what you do in the games is a reflection of how you practice and how you prepare.
Okay, I know it's a loss, but it was your first regular season home game as the coach here at Florida Tech. Was there a moment it kind of hit you? I know it was a loss. you're going to get many more wins there at the Clemente Center. Was there that moment like, okay, this is for real. We're doing this with a coach here at Florida Tech?
Yeah, no, we were all thrilled to be at home. Hated that we lost the game though.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, we're excited to start. And now we got a little stretch where we get to play at home after we played the first 8 games of the season away, and had a chance to bond and go through some good times and some rough times on the road. So having a little stretch where we get to be home and sleep in your own bed and is nice.
Yeah.
So and hopefully it'll turn into an advantage for us. It was not an advantage for us in game one, but we gotta make that a reality.
Even though you weren't home all of November, was there a bonding type feel to it with your players that they got to know each other being road warriors like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it helped us grow as a program. There's a certain amount of focus too, if when you got the right people being on the road, because especially when you visit the great places we visited, like Valdosta, Georgia, Albany, Georgia, Americus, Georgia. They're big hot spots. So there's not a lot else to do except for focus on the games and the how you want to prepare and pour into your teammates and pour into the film preparation. So and 6-hour bus rides to and from. So I that really wasn't super intentional, but I actually think it worked out really well for us because I do think we really grew as a team over the month of November, being away from home a lot, long bus rides, a lot of time together. I did think that helped our team.
Is it weird though? All right, you're playing. You look at the schedule. All right, you played Saturday, and now you're off to what, the 16th? Does that drive you crazy? Where you'd rather just get back on there on the courts?
Yes, but unfortunately, the situation at Florida, it's a real school, real education. So we're taking that time off for finals. So
Okay.
no, we don't play any games during finals. We gave the guys total days off. One day we just worked out, shot for 30 minutes so they could pour everything into, finishing the semester as strong as possible. We practiced for the first time since that game this morning before a couple of them had to go do a couple finals, and then tomorrow we'll really get after it in anticipation of our game Tuesday. You're always worried when you take a 10-day break because like we were playing, game 2 days off, game 2 days off, basically, starting mid-November through last Saturday. But it's our job as coaches to foster environment where, tomorrow we feel like it's a game day. They get a game day conditioning in, so then we can take off on Saturday and then prepare Sunday and Monday like we would normally leading up to a game, so that our players don't feel that as best we can.
Who do you guys have coming up on next Tuesday then?
We play Eckherd.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this matchup then, Coach?
Every game in our league's tough. As we told the team, there's no if we come mentally, physically, emotionally right, ready to be the more competitive, tougher, more connected team, there's not a team in our league we can't beat. And if we don't come mentally right and we're not mentally, emotionally, physically ready to be the more competitive team, there's not a team in the league that can't embarrass us. And so I think you always have to balance that with your team is like you got to have the confidence that you can play with anybody on your schedule. But you got to turn around, you got to have the humility that if you aren't right, that like anybody on your schedule in the league. Yeah, I feel that. There's some teams that are at the top and there's some teams that might have a little bit more talent, but there's no gimmies in the league. There's no like, oh, that's a win. I think people were hoping we would be that, but we're trying not to be that for them.
I like that. That'd be a problem for people around the league. I like that should be
Yeah.
the answer. So you look at that schedule. All right, you're going to play Tuesday. Then coming up the 19th, you guys have some type of Christmas classic. Tell about this, Coach. What's going to be happening?
Yeah, we're playing two teams, playing Claflin from South Carolina, and we're playing Michigan Tech, who borderline top 10 team in the country, have a preseason first team All-American coming in here. So should be two really good games and two really talented teams. One that might roll in here top 10 in the country.
All right. We talked about this preseason. I want to circle back to this here in December. The idea of gelling as a team, which you've been talking about here in our conversation. But do you feel like, all right, does it take time for a basketball team to gel and fire at all cylinders? Because you've been a player, assistant, now you're the head basketball coach. You've seen different teams play. Do you feel that like, hey, all right, let's see how we look in January? Or do you like, no, I want to win. I want everyone to gel right now. How do you try to approach it, coach?
Well, both.
Mm.
You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, but you want to be playing good enough to win every game you're playing right now. There is no, I mean, every team's different. Every team takes on a life of its own. Um, you know, the goal is to have a team gel and continue to get better throughout the course of the season. And you have teams sometimes that peak early and then they drop off. You have some teams that peak late and they're not great early. I mean, the goal is to do both. The goal is to have them come together and play together and play connected and play tough and play competitive, and then still find a way to get better every day. But every team is different, and so you got to figure out, what are the correct buttons to push with this particular group, this particular team. How can we be better tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and how does that add up?
I will.
But you also have to protect that when you have it, because you can lose it too now.
That is a great point. All right, so I'll circle back to a question again. What do you feel like is the identity of your team right now, and how do you guys want to improve moving forward?
Well, the identity of our team is whatever our opponents think about our team. I know what I want our identity to be. I want our identity to be that we're the most competitive team in the league, that we consistently play tougher than our opponents, and man, those guys really play together. That's what I want our identity to be. That's what I want, random, bystanders, fans, opposing coaches. That's what I want them to think about our team. But first and foremost, that we're the most competitive team in the league.
I like
Now,
it.
it's not our identity if the other 10 programs in the league don't watch us and think it's our identity. So you're better off asking them.
Okay, then, on a lighter note, tell us about the space, the helmet. Okay, because I've seen this on social media. If you haven't, I'm going to repost it. So I think after a big win to rally the troops, you have like the NASA space helmet. What happens exactly, Coach?
So it was it's our associate head coach's Zach Friedman. It was his idea. We were just kicking stuff around. We were trying to lean into the fact that we were the Space Coast, and he suggested that we buy an astronaut helmet. And at first, I was like, I don't really like single individual players out, whatever. Like, he was like, just hand it to the player of the game or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I was like, makes it about stats or whatever, and like we're trying to get these guys to play together. And he was like, well, don't make it about that. So I was like, all right. And so we kind of kicked it around, and I think he brought it up again, and I was like, well, what would we even call it? He's like, I don't know. So we ended up typing it into chat GTP, and we said, all right, if we passed out, we're a basketball program, we passed out an astronaut helmet at the end of the game, like what would you call it? And it gave us like 20 recommendations. It was like Rocket Man of the Game, and like just I like a bunch of just wild stuff. And option 8 was 0G MVP, and I just thought that was the funniest thing. So I was like, oh, that's it. Like that's it. We're the 0G MVP of the game. And so
no,
we try.
I love it. All right, go on.
So we started that. We'd only do it after wins, and our guys were pretty surprised, I think, the first time and the first couple times. And but they really bought it. They've really bought into it the last couple times that we've passed it out. I've come in the locker room and they're like chanting, and so I don't know. It's just kind of a fun thing that we just kind of a little bit came out of boredom.
Okay, so when do you make the decision? When you like after the game, the assistants, you guys powwow for a second? What happens?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, Coach Freeze, Coach Avant, and I just kind of stand out there and go, all right, well, who gave us a shot in the arm? Who came out and made a difference? Who, bought into something that we've been asking them to do that maybe was unpleasant, coaching or whatever. And so we've just kind of always, and we've been pretty in unison with it, actually, to this point. There hasn't been a lot of disagreements. Like everyone's been kind of in alignment with who who should win it on each game. And sometimes it's a guy with a lot of stats, and sometimes it's not a guy with a lot of stats who took on a particular assignment or did something that we asked him to do and ended up helping us win the game. And um, but right now we're pretty in alignment with the zero G MVP. So we'll see. Hopefully we win. Hopefully we win several more games, and
Yes.
we start having some disagreements because we're just passing out the helmet so many times. But that hasn't been the case so far.
Where did you get the helmet?
Oh
Or
well.
can you not tell? Are you not allowed to
I mean,
tell?
we got it from NASA, of course. I mean, it's a legitimate, it's a super legitimate. It's probably worth thousands of dollars. Yeah, I mean, that's you're just so connected here. So many astronauts at Florida Tech. I mean, we have a bunch of NASA helmets. We got it off. I think what's the Spirit Halloween store?
Oh, you got
So
that's where you got it. I like
yeah,
I
it's online.
what I love about those types of things is it's not only the person that wins it in the moment, right? Which is a great honor for a player in front of his teammates. But I love, and I want your thoughts on this. I love someone like, let's say one player gets it when the enthusiasm of the other teammates are excited for that person. That's what I love about it,
Yeah.
Coach.
No, absolutely. And we got great young men in the program, and so they've been every time they get really fired up. Sometimes I'm a little bit worried they're going to give the zero G MVP a concussion because now what's become tradition is once that guy puts it on his head, everyone like a football player, he just made a big deal. Everyone just starts
Yeah.
whacking the guy in the head. So like once you don the helmet, you got to be ready to take a little bit of a beating for about 5 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, don't do it at halftime. Wait till the end of the game.
No, absolutely not.
We need you for this. We really do.
Yeah.
And coaches are not allowed to win. Only players.
No, absolutely not.
No
You'll
coach.
not see a. Yeah, that would be uncharted territory. We haven't never even broached that subject, but I doubt that's in our future.
When you got the first win, I know it was on the road, but what was that feeling like for you personally? Your first win at Florida Tech?
Relief. That's the honest truth. That it was relief. So,
Why was it relief? Because you just been waiting and waiting and waiting since you got the job to get that first win?
yeah, I mean, you work really hard and you feel like you're doing the right things and you're trying to do it the right way and you're trying to do it the way that you see fit and like sometimes the results provide relief more than they do any sense of joy or overt satisfaction. So, which I think probably a lot of people in coaching, if they were really honest with that, that's kind of how they would describe it too. But I enjoy the process more than I enjoy the results. Um, so when the buzzer sounded, the immediate feeling and the feeling after was relief.
It's an amazing answer you're giving. I appreciate you saying that. I know it's hard to, I get it. Like, essentially, you and me talked before before the season started. We went over to this discussion of, all right, you interviewed for the job, you got the job. Then you had to move down here. You're trying to figure out the area. Then you've been recruiting nonstop. You and the women's basketball coach, you have a bond with her as well, going through the same type of situation as well, putting together a team, practicing, getting them to class, doing like all these steps. It is a journey and a process. And hey, congratulations on the first win. I hope you get 500 more, buddy, moving forward with the program.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, the losses hurt more than the wins are great. So that's motivation not to lose a ton.
I like it. So you guys are off. It's finals week. Coach does not have any finals he has to take. No, he's going to be going over practice. And I know you're coming up. You guys got game film, don't you? Later this afternoon.
We do. Because we typically would clean it up the next day and move on, but because immediately after the St. Leo game, we gave him off several days. We're gonna clean up the St. Leo game, which is not won't be the most pleasant experience, but to relive that. But it's you don't get better by burying your head in the sand. You get better by taking a hard look at it, and it's never all negative or all positive. So like and we try to like reinforce that, like good, bad. Like when we have bad games, we're going to show them some of the positive things we did. When we play really well, we're going to show them some of the ways we can get better. And it's all a frame of reference and how you look at it. Because like when you win, it's like the even when we won 4 games in a row, the message was really proud of you, happy we're winning. You guys are playing good ball. We're not as good as we need to be at the end of the year to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish. So like you also in those wins have to look at, hey, here are the things we didn't do well. Here are the things we did do well, and we need to reinforce those positive behaviors. But here are the things we didn't do well. And it's kind of the same things in losses. Hey, here's some positives we could take from that we could expand. Like we did better in transition offense in the St. Leo game than we have the last several games. But like once again, turnovers, rebounding, just some not smart basketball plays. Like we gotta figure out a way to hold on to the positives, and we gotta figure out a way to clean up the negatives. Because once you start, it's never going to be perfect, and that's part of the process. That's what I mean. That's the enjoyable part to me.
Will Murphy, head basketball coach at Florida Tech. Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck. I know you got the game next Tuesday, then you got the Christmas Classic, and I hope you have a great holidays with your family, and I hope I can get you on again sometime, all right?
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate I really appreciate the work you do. I really appreciate the exposure you give us. And just thank you.